This is the story of how we came to be Idaho Homesteaders. Our story begins somewhere back in 2010 when this happened. We were living in the suburbs of Atlanta at the time. Ashley and I both had wanted to move west for a long time. I had this fantasy of being a mountain man in the wilds of Alaska, eating wild caught salmon.
Look, Daddy. There's a fish in the water hole.
What kind of fish is it?
It's a salmon fish.
Salmon?
Yes.
I'll get the fishing net. All right, little buddy, you think you can catch it with this fishing net?
Yes.
All right, get us some wild caught salmon.
Look, Daddy, I caught the salmon.
Good job, little buddy. Let's eat.
You hold your hands. Look, Daddy, it's ready.
It sure is. It looks like we have some coriander crusted salmon. All right, little buddy, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's eat. Did you hear that?
Yes, a bear.
It's time to go. We got to get out of here.
Well, what about the wild caught salmon?
Well, if we don't go now, we're going to be wild caught. Let's get out of here.
Yes, let's get out of here.
Okay, so that probably wasn't going to work out. But Ashley and I both agreed after she got pregnant, we didn't want to raise our family in Atlanta. We started searching for a place where we could live out west. One of the biggest things we really didn't like about Atlanta or Georgia in general was the climate there. We really disliked the intense humidity and heat for the summer. We wanted to find a place out west that had a milder summer, low humidity, but not too harsh of a winter. Those criteria dramatically narrowed down the list of possibilities. Throughout Ashley's pregnancy, I was going through my own personal metamorphosis. Toward the end, right before little Buddy was born, I came to the realization that life is about to dramatically change for us. And we were taking on the most massive responsibility in the world, and that is to bring another human into the world, care for them, and to have to provide for all of their needs. Life was no longer just about me. In that, my sensitivity and awareness to certain things like the fragility of our food system just became very clear to me. And I had this spiritual prompting. The prompting was, with bringing a child into the world, we needed to become more resilient and take more responsibility for our own food. We lived in the suburbs of Atlanta on a little postage stamp lot in an HOA subdivision, and I knew there was no way that we could really do much of anything to raise our own food. But I asked myself, what can I start doing now, even on a small scale, even if it's not very meaningful? What can I do now to start learning skills to increase our ability to do some food production? The first thing we did is we built a raised bed garden. I went to the HOA and had to ask for permission, but because I wasn't digging in the ground and we were gardening on top of the ground, they were okay with it, and we were able to install a small raised bed garden in our backyard. I also wanted to learn some skills though. At the time we weren't on a primal diet and we were eating a lot of bread, and I was really wanting to learn, how can we start making our own bread? How can we kind of take charge of that aspect? Obviously we weren't going to be growing hundreds of acres of grain, but I thought, what if I can get the raw grain and start milling it myself and start making bread myself? Which is exactly what I did. I found a local grain supplier, I bought bulk grain, and I bought one of those hand crank grain mills. But I learned after a lot of trial and error how to make bread. This evolved into me wanting to learn other stuff. I thought, butter. I love butter. How do I make butter? Me wanting to learn how to make butter led to this next step in our progression towards homesteading. A couple months ago, I made a video where I talked a little bit about this. Check it out. I haven't always wanted to be a homesteader or get into farming. It's only been in the last few years of my adult life that I took an interest in that. My interest in living this lifestyle really spawned from one visit to a particular farm here in Atlanta. I had just done some research. I was looking for a source of raw milk. I didn't know anything about raw milk at the time, and I was just reading all the health benefits of it, and I wanted to learn to make butter. I was trying to teach myself some hard skills, and I wanted to go to the source. I wanted to go to the cow to get the cream to make the butter. So I started looking for dairies, and I didn't think I would find any in Atlanta, but I found one. It was a 5-acre Jersey dairy farm right in the middle of North Metro Atlanta. You know, when we first came here, me and my family, we had no idea that this way of life was still possible. That you could raise your food, feed your family, and have some kind of income off of it. It was a completely foreign concept to us. So coming here and seeing that, seeing how you guys are living your lives and doing it in a way that was respectful of the land, healthy, regenerative, was very inspirational to us, and that's when we decided this is the life that we want for our family. So seeing how you guys did it was our inspiration, and it's led to what we're doing now. So
amen, brother, amen.
I continued researching where we might live with sustainable food production and community interdependent self-sufficiency in mind. Idaho ranked high in my searches based on blogs, forums, and articles I read. There seemed to be a strong culture of homesteading and preparedness in Idaho. It looked like Idaho was going to fit the bill for us. So when little Buddy was just 7 months old, we got on an airplane and flew to Idaho, got in a car, and just started driving all around the state. We absolutely fell in love with Idaho. At the conclusion of that trip, there was no debate about it. Ashley and I were in perfect agreement that Idaho was the place where we wanted to live. It just felt like home being there. Over the course of the next 3 years, we came back on a few more trips to check out the different seasons and to check out different areas. The end result was the same. We wanted to be there. The reason why we didn't just pack our bags and move right away, though, was the job situation. That was mainly with Ashley's job. Ashley works in the software industry, and the software industry isn't entirely booming here in Idaho. That period of waiting over the next 3 years was not wasted. During that time, I read a ton of books about homesteading, and I found permaculture, which was the answer I was looking for. This was the solution to sustainable food production. Using permaculture principles and techniques, I found the way that we can sustainably raise food on our small homestead, providing a healthy, natural diet for us while also regenerating the landscape. These concepts just blew my mind, and I was all in. I realized this is what I wanted to do with my life. Eventually, Ashley found a position open in her company that she worked for at the time. The position would require her to travel some, but she could work remotely when she's not traveling. And the position would eventually evolve to the point where she would be covering an area in the western part of the United States. The company wound up offering her the job. The boss told her that we could live anywhere we wanted as long as she could get to an airport. Ashley called me excitedly, told me about the job offer, and she said, "This is our opportunity. The door is finally open for us to move to Idaho." We absolutely love it here, and we're really, really happy that we made the move. It's not been without struggle, though. Though there has been struggle and sacrifice, we're working towards living the life that we have designed for ourselves, rather than living the lives that were designed for us by others. Ashley really enjoys her job, and I really enjoy mine now, being on the homestead, staying home with little buddy, doing homeschooling with him. It's not easy, but everything's going well. Life is good.